The heroine of our story is a plain viscount's daughter. Her fiancé is a court alchemist, and the son of an earl. From the get-go, their marriage was arranged by their parents, but it allowed her be involved with the alchemy she had come to love so much. Like most maidens, she fully believed that at least they'd have a reasonable, happy newlywed life starting tomorrow. But of course fate has its own course. Because what do you mean she just chanced upon a cheating scene involving her fiancé and another girl? Before we get here, let's wind it back to the events prior to this scandalous scene. The day before the traitorous moment, in a workshop somewhere in the kingdom of Remeldia, our heroine had just finished prepping the herbs. By the way, this is the heroine of our story, Mia Hobril. She's the viscount's daughter who works as the Adventurer Guild's receptionist and an alchemist's assistant. She gives a long stretch looking at the work she's done for the day. Well, this is as much as she can do for today. Just then the door opens, and in comes Zeal Boitos, an alchemist who is also the son of an earl. Zeal asks if she was still working, to which Mia replies that she had just finished prepping the potion materials and that the potions will be complete once he finishes the final steps. Zeal frowns and tells her she works too slowly, and just like a useless manager, he tells her he's heading home first since he's got things to do. Did we forget to tell you he even orders her to clean everything up? Then there's Mia, who bows and commends him for his hard work. Is his hard work in the room with us? As soon as he's gone, Mia heaves a sigh of relief. Since she can't use magic well, Mia can't perform alchemy by herself. This is why she works as an assistant to Zeal, an alchemist, who is also her fiancé. It's pretty obvious that their engagement is a loveless political marriage. What's concerning is that lately Zeal just dumps work on her and leaves right away. Like, dude, this is your workshop, you know? Mia is not treated well, but still she tries to stay positive about this marriage. She's hoping that if she can be involved in major alchemy work, then she won't have any regrets. 8 years ago, Mia's meeting with Zeal made her discover the world of alchemy. Almost instantly, she also realized that it was something that she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried with her abilities. Even though that's the case, just seeing a potion created from the herbs she prepared is enough to make her incredibly happy. But what Mia is doing is pretty tiring though. On weekdays, she works the reception desk at the Adventurer Guild. On weekends, she helps at Zeal's workshop, working non-stop every day. This got her wishing that sometimes she'd like to take a break, but since the wedding with Zeal is soon, she just bears it all, thinking that she just needs to keep pushing herself until then. The next day, Mia heads straight to the guild for her receptionist duties. At least tomorrow, she's retiring from the guild for marriage. Finally, life will settle down, and she can focus on helping at the workshop. As for her work at the guild, she only took it because her father told her to. But now that she's quitting, she'll kinda miss it. Just then, Zeal appears, telling her that he has something important to discuss tonight, ordering her to tell him her ring size. Every receptionist present heard that squeal. Soon the girls gather around her, giving their best wishes and cheering her on. With everyone congratulating her like this, it made Mia think, this is it, huh? She's really getting married. Like all innocent maidens, she believed that everything would go well. Well, not quite. Later that night, Mia is still at the guild and works later than usual. She hurries to the back thinking she needs to hurry and meet with Zeal. But then she passed by the storage room, with the door slightly ajar. From her viewpoint, Mia noticed two people inside, quickly followed by lovey-dovey sounds. So of course she peeked inside. There she saw Zeal, and wait, isn't that girl her junior at the guild? Katarina. Shocked by this discovery, Mia bumps into a wooden pail, alerting the two to her presence. They both look to the door and see Mia standing there. But instead of feeling remorse, Zeal had the nerve to smirk at being caught. He told her already, didn't he? He has no time today. Still, Zeal mentions how he already made reservations at a restaurant to propose to Mia. To that, Katarina reminds Zeal that he's the one who said last night wasn't enough for him. Plus, he also told her that the wedding ring is a pre-made one too. While the two go on about their back and forth, Mia is too stunned to speak. Just what is this? How could they act so calm after being caught cheating? As if he read her mind, Zeal speaks out that Mia may think this is cheating, but no, this is acceptable. Because as far as he thinks, a proper noble has one or two partners for nighttime fun. For him, he only hid it because Mia was too serious. Your Honor, add victim blaming to the list of his crimes. Katarina supports his claim, even going as far as to say that Mia should be thankful that they kept it a secret. Cheating or not, whatever, it's not important. Zeal starts rummaging through his pocket and tells her that this should fix her mood. With that, he presents her with the ring. It's his very first gift to her, mind you. This makes it all the more memorable, right? After all, Zeal knows Mia loves him. But that was Mia's last straw. Instead of being happy like Zeal expects of her, Mia puts her foot down and tells him that she can't accept that. Finally, she speaks up. But before everything else, she clears one major thing up. She does not have even the slightest affection for Zeal. Let's get that one thing clear. Upon hearing that, Zeal scoffs because she's not really considering breaking off their engagement, is she? Right now, a lot of things are running through Mia's mind. For one, even when Zeal treated her coldly and dumped his family's work on her, she endured it for the sake of the Hobril family. But that ends today. Mia explicitly tells him that she can't overlook this. With that, she formally refuses this marriage. Zeal is in disbelief because that's ridiculous. She's marrying into an earl's family, for Pete's sake. He's the one making concessions, going off at her, but Mia is already walking away and she refuses to look back, and off she goes. She runs away, thinking about how marriages between nobles are politically important for both families. As for her, the reason she abandoned time with her fiancé is that he's goofing around with her junior. Just how pathetic is that? Finally, the tears start to come. All her life, Mia thought she'd been working hard, not shame her family. She trained her body to wear dresses well, learned manners to enter the earl's family, and even worked hard as his assistant. But in the end, none of her efforts were ever recognized. She was crying with her head hung low, so she didn't notice someone was actually in front of her until she bumped into them. Mia immediately apologizes to this person, but she stops midway when she hears his familiar voice. A tall, dark-haired man was standing before her, asking if something happened. It's Lord Crane Augusta. Oh no, why would someone from a marquis family be here at this hour? By the way, Crane is also a court alchemist. Anyway, he tries to casually brush off her breakdown, and thankfully, Crane actually has legit business here. There's a request he'd like Mia to check. With that, he motions to her to follow her, and if they could look it over somewhere calm. Mia follows along, wondering if he's actually concerned about her. They find a sofa where Mia checks a certain document, while Crane awaits her thoughts. While doing the work, Mia also thinks about how he's one of the only 10 court alchemists in this country. Even if she has handled his requests many times before, there is no way he would come this late unless there was a problem. And true enough, she's right. Mia immediately apologizes, explaining that the healing herbs he requested were actually delivered a week ago. This was their mistake. Crane heaves a sigh of relief upon knowing it's done. Like any good receptionist, Mia tells him that the guild can reimburse the fee and reorder if needed, but Crane says it's fine. Fortunately, the herbs don't spoil easily, and if they arrive safely, then that's more than enough for him. Besides, he shares how when Mia was the one handling things, nothing went wrong. But this new girl, Katarina, Crane says her work is concerning, to say the least. That much Mia can agree to. Just look at Mia's work. She marked client notified without even contacting them. She even keeps messing up Crane's name. Mia apologizes again for causing him trouble, but Crane assures her that she helped him many times already, so she shouldn't worry about it. Now that his issue is resolved, Crane smiles, and this time he offers to listen to her woes. He has time, you know? Mia feels touched because he's someone far above her, yet he's so genuinely kind. So Mia decides to share the cause of her distress, beginning with her engagement with Zeal. She reveals that there was no love between them, so she has no regrets about breaking it off, but she worked so hard to support him as an alchemist. And how did he repay her? He told her things like, "I'm compromising to marry you," and night flings are normal for nobles. The nerve of that guy. Not a single effort of hers was ever acknowledged by that guy. Crane feels bad for her, commenting that Zeal has a pretty twisted view of nobility. Well, he thinks there are some people like that, huh? Still, Mia continues that for something like this to happen right before the wedding, the reputation damage will be severe. They've already sent out the invitations too. She has doubts that Zeal will keep quiet about this. Since she worked at his workshop often, that would hurt their business. And they definitely spread a few bad rumors to cover up their family, which was rejected by the Hobrills. If that happens, it won't just affect marriage prospects, she might not even be able to work normally. Crane adds that even if Mia is completely right, which she is, Zeal of the Boitos family is someone the Alchemy Guild has been paying attention to. If they deem him valuable, Crane says they may even cover for him. It's just as Mia expected. A Viscount family like hers can't stand against an Earl's family. At this rate, she'll just end up hurting her family. Well, if it comes to that, she's prepared to leave the house and just live quietly alone in the countryside. Crane tells her, though, that there is one way to turn her future around. Eh? There is? Mia abruptly stands from her seat, eager to know what it is. She promises to do everything she can. Crane was surprised, then smiled. With that, he asks what she thinks about working as the assistant to a court alchemist. Crane is asking her to be a court alchemist assistant. She was too shocked by the question, so Crane continued, saying how it's not a bad offer. After all, he knows Mia worked at an alchemy shop, so she should be able to handle the tasks. Plus, if she accepts this, then all the bad rumors around her will go away. As soon as he said that, he stood, prompting Mia to ask in a hurry why he was asking her. Before he turns to go, he tells her that it's because he values her. Simple as that. He urges her to think about it until tomorrow, then makes his exit. Wait, tomorrow? Mia pinches herself to check if this is real. Okay, that hurts, it is real. Could someone like her who can't use magic really work as an assistant to a court alchemist? This is not a dream, right? Meanwhile, her perpetrators are actually having a nice dinner at a restaurant somewhere around town. Zeal swirls his glass of wine around, talking about how Mia really dared to stain his brilliant record. Katarina says it's because her senior is a pitiful person, so it can't be helped, even blaming it on how Mia has the heart of a childlike maiden. But now that the issue is over, Katarina says it was actually pretty easy to handle Mia. Didn't Zeal act just a little sweet toward her? And then suddenly she's ready to do his every bidding? He affirms that it's true, recalling how Mia did everything without a single complaint when he dumped all the chores from his shop on her. Now that he remembers it, he even tested once just how far she would go. Mia actually did even the potion prep without realizing it was an alchemist's job. This was Katarina's first time hearing this. It's no wonder her senior is useless on her days off, no? Zeal tells her that Mia's not all that bad though. Thanks to her, he got plenty of time to spend with Katarina. But what he can say about Mia is this: as a woman she's helpless but also convenient. Katarina laughs because at this point Mia is more like a slave rather than a fiancé to Zeal. The two had the audacity to talk loudly like this at a restaurant, ignoring the glares and frowns from everybody else eating there. Zeal already got it all figured out. Mia is only good at doing whatever she's ordered to. If rumors spread that she was dumped and her engagement broken off, then she'll end up in a hopeless situation. Katarina asks him if what he did is really okay. Because if Zeal has been dumping everything on Mia, then won't it affect his work? Ha! It's no problem at all. Zeal even claims that if he gets serious, he can make something even better. Upon hearing that, Katarina comments on how he makes it sound like he hasn't been serious until now. He tells her that's exactly how it is. A potion made with help from an amateur who can't even use alchemy shouldn't turn out well. But him, he's a genius. Even in that situation, he kept making high-quality potions, and now he's on the verge of being promoted to B-rank alchemist. Katarina is even more impressed. Who knows, maybe Zeal will become a court alchemist someday, no? The latter puffs his chest out, saying if it's not him, then who else? The audacity of this man is astounding. He just knows a shining future is guaranteed for him, and yet Mia dared to put a blemish on his record. Zeal vows to make sure that this woman who's been dragging him down will hit rock bottom. If that's the case, Katarina suggests he try applying to be a court alchemist's assistant. With his skills, she believes he could do it. He scoffs at the idea, saying he's not the kind of man who works under someone else. Besides, what's he supposed to learn from a bunch of old geezers anyway? But wasn't there a person who became the youngest court alchemist? At that, Crane frowns because he knows exactly who she's talking about. Crane Augusta. From what Katarina knows, Crane only wants assistance. He acknowledges himself, so he does everything alone. The mention of his name made Zeal remember memories from when he started working as an alchemist. Back then he got the chance to watch Crane work, and from the get-go he felt an overwhelming difference in their abilities. But that was then, and this is now. Zeal smirks because now he's confident that he has stepped into the realm of geniuses. He fully believes he's the only one who can drag that man down from his court alchemist seat. It's about time he shows that world what he can really do, or maybe what he can't do. The next day, Mia is up early and is already on her way to work. Last night was a lot, huh? He caught Zeal cheating last night, but what she didn't expect was to be invited as a court alchemist's assistant. Normally they'd choose a promising alchemist or their own disciple as their assistant. But then again, Crane is not the kind of person who'd joke about something like that. Anyway, Mia thinks there's no point in overthinking it. For now, she just needs to get through the day. As soon as she opens the door and sets foot into the guild, Mia is immediately surrounded by practically everyone. Her friend Alice, a fellow guild receptionist, even holds her hand firmly, asking if she wants to open up about something to them. But before our heroine could even speak, the others went ahead and told her that they would treat her to a good meal and dessert. Finally, Mia gets a hold of herself and asks why they're acting like this all of a sudden. Alice just tells her that it's fine and there's no need to push herself. Wait a minute, this just makes our heroine all the more confused. What does she do now? Do they know about her broken engagement? To that they said it would be a lot weirder if they didn't know about Mia's broken engagement, even though it just happened yesterday. Alice says the news of it has already spread throughout the whole town. Another receptionist says that because Mia is a well-liked person around here, word quickly got around. Plus, they also know that the ones at fault are that spoiled noble brat and that fake cutesy girl. Suddenly, some of the male receptionists add their 2 cents, urging her to toss a man who's all talk, while another even offers to teach her how to get compensation. One of the older ladies commends Mia for coming in today, saying they're happy to see her. With everyone expressing their concern over her, Mia just feels so touched. To be honest, she doesn't actually feel anything about the broken engagement with Zeal, but with everyone being so kind to her like this, she feels overwhelmed. She starts getting teary-eyed, assuring everyone that she's fine. Suddenly, the boys get even angrier on her behalf, because how dare that bastard make a woman cry? Even if Zeal is a noble, they vow to show him no mercy. Alice pulls her in for a hug, asking about work. She tells Mia that if our heroine wants to, they can go ask the guildmaster with her. Besides, without Mia there, noble requests are pretty scary. Now that Alice mentions it, Mia remembers how she was supposed to retire for her wedding today. If she begs the guildmaster, he might let her keep working here at the guild. Just then, Alice sees a familiar figure pass by the window, so she hurriedly pushes Mia to do morning prep first. They'll just talk about it later. To the latter's surprise, she's positioned in a different seat today. A moment later, Katarina's voice echoes from the other room. As it turns out, Alice was trying to shield Mia from seeing that wretched girl, and Mia couldn't be more thankful for her friend. Work at the guild resumed as usual, and they even switched Mia's seat so she doesn't have to face Katarina at all. On top of that, her junior got caught slacking off on noble requests, so now Katarina is most probably getting an earful from the guildmaster. Maybe she's getting a pay cut, no? Mia would have mulled over Katarina's situation more if she hadn't heard the chatter from the others around her. Some of the other receptionists were looking for Katarina, knowing she had stolen Mia's fiancé. While some others are talking about how Zeal made a move on Mia's junior, the idle chatter grows louder each time. Mia already expected this much, and frankly this also works in her favor for breaking off the engagement with Zeal. Still, it doesn't feel good to have nasty rumors going around. She decides she'll just bear it all until it settles down. She got pulled out of her negative thoughts at the sound of the wooden chest being placed in front of her. It's Crane. With a smile, he tells her that he has come to hear her answer from yesterday, and while they're at it, he also asks if she can handle a potion delivery for him. Mia is in disbelief. She didn't expect he was serious about that offer. Anyway, she starts processing the order and at the same time explicitly tells him that she's not an alchemist. To that, Crane replies that he's not inviting her without thinking it through, and he fully understands that, but he's asking her anyway. She's skeptical, especially of the idea that a mere receptionist could become a court alchemist's assistant. Oh, for the potions, she says she'll add a bonus to the purchase price for them. She tells him that his magic is more stable than most, so she'd like to use it for long-term adventurer contracts. Crane specializes in potion research. He makes potions under all sorts of conditions, so there are hits and misses among what gets brought in. Mia looks at the potions he made, thinking about how she was able to study alchemy through doing appraisals by helping Zeal. She always wondered what it takes to make a good potion, and there wasn't a day her heart didn't race thinking about it. Crane smiles, seeing how much Mia's face lights up just from looking at a potion. She really does love alchemy, huh? Mia is surprised to hear that. Is it really that obvious on her face? Still smiling, Crane says it's because anyone can tell just by looking. Plus, he knows she calmly handles detailed potion appraisals, which are difficult, which is what he values about her. She rebuts that claim, saying it's just an experience any guild worker could do. He can flatter her all he wants, but he won't get anything out of it. Anyway, she puts the potion back in the chest, saying she'll have to decline the purchase of his potion. Crane just smiles, because he knew those potions wouldn't pass. After all, he reused herbs after extracting the components. Mia scolds him, telling him not to bring stuff like that to the guild. She had to remind him that she's not an alchemist's examiner. That may be what she thinks, but for Crane, she's basically an examiner. These items he brought are actually called forged potions. It's illegal, but another staff member would normally buy them without noticing. Mia doesn't believe it. He can't just joke about stuff like that. Mia looks at the potion again. Sure, the color and magic reaction of this potion are normal, but it clearly doesn't contain any healing components. There's no way any staff would buy something that doesn't even fully pass a potion, right? Mia would be surprised to find out that this fools many. Even Crane admits he wouldn't know without the sorting label he put on it. Since she wouldn't believe it, Mia decides to test it out. She calls Alice and asks her friend what she thinks of the potion in her hand. The latter knows that the potion came from Crane's and decides to appraise it at Mia's request. So Alice checks the potion's color, magic, and impurities. Yep, this potion is a good one. Mia is shocked. Alice is a fellow guild worker who is already in the veteran range, and it looks like she's not lying about what she just said. But apart from being a fellow guild member, she's also Mia's most trusted friend. So in other words, this really is a forged potion. A potion that can fool a lot of people. Crane asks if she now understands the reason why he wants her as his assistant. Mia forgot about that for a moment, but then again this only proves that she was able to see through the forged potion. Maybe she could really be of help to Crane. After all, Alice's voice rings loud as she asks if Crane is asking Mia to be his assistant. The latter confirms that it is true. He's going to bring her to his shop and he intends to scout her as his assistant. Just then the chatter from a while ago has a new subject. This time it's about Mia as the assistant to Crane, the youngest court alchemist ever. Some of the ladies even say she hit the jackpot. Just like that, the pitiful looks everyone was throwing her way a while ago are suddenly gone. Then there's Alice, fussing about how her friend didn't tell her that she got a storybook offer like that. In Mia's defense, she thought it was a joke too, which is why she didn't bring it up. But maybe the reason Crane tried to make her decide something this big so quickly, and the reason he came to the guild 2 days in a row, was to overwrite the rumors about her. With that, Mia bows her head and accepts his offer, asking to let her work with him. The people around them cheered, while Crane asked in a hushed tone if he meddled around too much. Mia says he didn't, and as a matter of fact, she's grateful. But why would he go this far for her? Crane smiles and says that if he had to say why, it's because he was just repaying a debt, so she shouldn't worry about it. A debt? Before she could ask about it, Alice came running, holding a bouquet, and handed it to Mia. She thanks her friend for everything, and that all of them at the guild are praying for her success with her new job. Mia is surprised by the flowers. She didn't expect everyone to prepare a pretty bouquet for her. As the reality of everything finally sinks in, Mia starts to cry and promises to do her best. But then she turns into receptionist mode, informing Crane that trading illegal goods is a crime. To that, the latter says he would have stopped them if they'd tried to buy the forged potion, so it's all good, he won't sell it. Mia, being the goody two-shoes that she is, almost had a heart attack with that. Also, she warns him not to get too involved in women's drama since it gets pretty messy. This is our heroine, 18-year-old Mia Hobril. She has just retired from the Adventurer Guild and will now be working for the kingdom's own court alchemist as his assistant. Right now, she's standing right in front of the court alchemist's complex. Since it's attached to the royal castle, it's only natural for it to be so grand. In this kingdom, only 10 people are recognized as court alchemists, and each of them has their own dedicated workshop inside here. What really raised the status of alchemists was that the kingdom of Remeldia created the world's only court alchemist system. Barriers that keep monsters away from the cities, building materials strengthened to resist disasters, and better crop yields. Those are just a few of their doings. The system's only been around a few decades, but thanks to its achievements, the era itself is starting to change. Looking around, Mia can't help but murmur to herself how everyone looks so smart. But no sooner had she said that than she covered her mouth, catching herself using informal language. Now that she's here, she needs to start practicing speaking formally. She has been working at the Adventurer Guild for so long that she has gotten too used to that relaxed atmosphere. Now that she finally gets to work as an assistant to a court alchemist, she needs to pull herself together. Mia heads inside and sees there are court alchemist assistants everywhere, until she finally reaches the door to Crane's workshop. She knocks, letting him know she's arrived. Crane opens the door and welcomes her. They exchanged formalities before Crane urged her inside. As soon as she steps inside, Mia is welcomed by his spacious workshop. She didn't expect it to be so spacious. Crane says it's only natural, since the kingdom funds the place after all. The equipment is on a completely different level from a regular workshop. Mia looks curiously and notices that there are so many tools he has never seen before. Crane admits that there are plenty he has never used either, since different specialties use different tools. Mia is all fired up, promising to do her best even though it might take some time to get used to it all. Crane low-key tells her to tone down the intensity, saying she doesn't have to push herself that hard. After all, he wants her here as his advisor, encouraging her to speak up if she ever notices anything. This just leaves her confused because who has ever heard of a former Adventurer Guild receptionist as an advisor to a court alchemist? It feels strange, but she could indeed tell that the potion was illegal. She reminds him that she has only dabbled in alchemy and not to expect too much from her. Crane says it's fine, he won't fire her just because of an off-base opinion. He'd be more comfortable if she could just talk to him like she has always done. Mia is reluctant because somehow she feels like Crane isn't getting much out of this. To that, the latter says just having her look over his potions is valuable to him. As long as Mia goes about things as usual, that's more than enough for him. Well, if he insists that much, then Mia decides to take up his offer, even though she feels like he's being way too considerate. Anyway, treating his assistant like a noble lady is a bit weird, so for that she asks that he should at least change the way he addresses her and call her casually. To that, Crane easily agrees. Now that's settled, Mia asks where the other assistants are working since she doesn't see anyone else here. Crane tells her outright that he only has her, and he has no plans on hiring anyone else. Cue awkward silence. Wait, did Mia say something weird? Shouldn't a court alchemist's workshop be full of people? To that he explains that too many people just get in the way of his research. But doesn't that make him all alone? Crane counts him and Mia. There are two of them right here right now, right? Is he a lone genius or just bad with people? Mia thought to herself. Anyway, she tells him that if he doesn't hire someone with more experience, people around him might start resenting it. Crane's not too worried about it, saying that kind of thing will follow later if needed. Anyway, enough of the small stuff. Crane says it's time for her first job as his advisor. Right now he plans to make some potions for delivery. So if anything catches Mia's eye, she should speak up. He begins by lighting the stove and pouring some type of liquid into a container. Mia wonders if he's using the latest magic stove, then notes how he's heating the magic water. By the way, magic water is water rich in mana, almost essential for potion making, gathered in places where mana is abundant. Back to Crane, he's now grinding the prepped herbs. This simple act leaves Mia impressed. He has seen Zeal make potions plenty of times, but Lord Crane's movements are different. They just flow and are on a completely different level. This makes her wish she could do alchemy like that too. If she were chosen as an assistant, it's okay to dream a little, right? Just then Crane's voice sounded on her side, asking if she was really enjoying watching that much. She apologizes for distracting him, but as always, Crane just smiles and tells her it's fine. For Crane, he doesn't get looked at often, so he finds it quite unusual. Mia replies that she's just really happy to get to watch him work. Most people tend to admire the flashy magic used by mages, so compared to that, Crane says alchemy work is mostly plain and unremarkable. Mia agrees. Even though both professions use magic, mages and alchemists leave completely different impressions. Mages are common among knights who protect the kingdom and among adventurers who make a living by exterminating monsters. Their fighting with magic is impressive, and it's easy for people to see their achievements and respect them. Alchemy work, on the other hand, tends to be small and contained. It rarely happens in front of others in the first place. Mostly just the things made in workshops like potions circulate on the market. Alchemy itself has been a closed-off world. That may be so, but for Mia, even if the work is plain, alchemy is indispensable. Knights and adventurers fighting on the front lines rely on those potions to keep fighting. Because of her engagement to Zeal, she remembers how she came into contact with alchemy. At the Adventurer Guild, she felt firsthand how important potions are, handing a recovery potion to an injured adventurer back then. This is why she admires alchemy. Besides, she can't handle magic very well, but there are parts of alchemy she can help with, so she ends up admiring it even more. By working as an alchemist's assistant, she was fooling him about how she really felt. People who can't use magic can't do alchemy either, she says. Crane quickly corrects her, that's not true. People often misunderstand it, but magic and alchemy are different things. He goes on and cites an example, asking if she has ever heard of a top-class mage who's also great at alchemy. Mia admits that she hasn't. In fact, Zeal never once said anything like that to her. Continuing with his story, not being able to use magic doesn't automatically mean she can't use alchemy. Wait, but don't they both use their own magic? Crane explains that they both deal with mana, but how you control and sense mana in its very nature. What's required differs between magic and alchemy. Crane, for one, can hardly use the kind of magic mages do. Upon hearing that, a thought hit her. Could she be able to do alchemy then? Crane continues his explanation. In the first place, alchemy is magic that alters materials using mana, and it's broadly divided into three forms. There's mixing, which is making potions and medicines, shaping, which is altering or transforming minerals and objects, and enchanting, which is granting magical power to things. Even among alchemists, differences in mana type change what they're good at. It demands delicate mana control and a lot of patience. Now that Mia thinks about it, Zeal mostly did mixing for potions. So that was his specialty skill. Crane says if Mia uses the kind of alchemy that suits her own talents, and when she unfolds this interference field where the alchemical effect happens, then the difficulty changes. According to him, there's no need to overcomplicate alchemy, she just needs to expand a mixing field like so and blend in her own mana, and she can trigger an alchemical reaction. Looking at Crane's woe, she sees how it makes a beautiful gradient slowly shifting to blue. Wow, so this is a court alchemist's mixing skill. After he's done, he asks if anything bothered her. Mia says there isn't. She is just surprised at how smooth his work was, since Zeal always struggled with that part. Crane frowns because did he hear that right? A C-rank alchemist struggled? He then asks her if she has ever seen any other alchemist work. Mia answers that Zeal is the only one she has seen. Crane ponders for a bit, since mixing is pretty basic for an alchemist. If it's true, then it really must be what he suspected. Alright, Crane thinks this is a good stopping point. This time he asks Mia if she wants to try making a potion herself. Can Mia really do that? Since she'll be his assistant, it won't hurt to experience the process, right? Plus, there's something he'd like to make clear, leaving her confused. He tells her not to worry about it. He'll know as soon as she makes a potion. First, he wants to know how much of the process she was actually handling. For now, he urges her to do everything she can. Mia gets dressed and does as Crane suggests. First, she starts prepping the herbs. To do so, she will gently stroke the leaves clean and scrub the roots thoroughly. Then she carefully wipes off any excess water. Crane is impressed, seeing how she's quite used to this. Mia takes that as a compliment, saying this is nothing much for her. Next, she will blend her mana into the herbs. For an alchemical reaction, one needs to mix the caster's mana and the herb's mana well, or it won't trigger easily. This is why she thought that if she worked hard on this step, she could reduce Zeal's burden, especially since it's a process she refined through trial and error. Et voila! The herbs look better than ever. But despite that, Crane seems to look a little worried, prompting Mia to ask if there was something wrong. The latter replies that if anything, the problem is that there's not a problem with her process so far. He does not doubt that her work so far is well done. That's all the positive cue Mia needs to proceed with her work. Up next, she warms the magic water to about body temperature as she starts mixing the herbs. If she presses too hard, she'll break the mana she poured into it, so she grinds them gently at a steady rhythm. After that, she's finally done with the appropriate texture. She turns to Crane, telling him that everything is ready. Crane, on the other hand, is making quite the face and backing away. Mia notices this, but he tells her it's just her imagination. Continuing with the potion, Crane instructs her to put the crushed herbs and magic water into the potion, then pour in her mana, fusing all the mana. At that, Mia stops midway since that's the most important part, and he's being super vague. Well, Crane has no better way to put it. He tells her that if she can unfold a mixing field with her skill, the potion will form on its own. Well, that's a little too much to spring on a beginner like her. At that, Crane moves closer and holds the flask with her, saying he'll help her with expanding the field. A magic circle appeared at the bottom of the flask, with Crane saying he's going to channel his mana into it. Mia is a little too overwhelmed since she has never done anything like this. It's embarrassing. But she sees how Crane's mana is interacting with the ingredients. It's like his mana is guiding everything along. She has to follow it. Okay, so Mia sends her mana through as well. Now the mana starts blending, swirling inside the flask, and then suddenly it changes colors. The mana's sudden reaction caught Mia by surprise, and to that, Crane urges her to look at the potion she just made. Mia raises the flask high in the air. She did it. She finally made her very own potion. She finally did it. Mia made a potion. Holding it preciously, Crane tells her that if she can make potions of this level, then she can work as an alchemist. Can she really become an alchemist? Mia is still in disbelief upon hearing that. Crane says it's possible, or rather it's more accurate to say she's been doing an alchemist's work for a while now. Just delivering this potion would be enough to fulfill a C-rank request. But Mia's mind is racing with other thoughts right now. She's still in disbelief because she never thought she could actually become the alchemist she has always dreamed of. After a moment she snaps back to reality and turns to Crane asking him what he was saying before. What he said was quite a lot, so yeah, he just replied with never mind. Anyway, Crane tells her that she could already live as an alchemist, but she'll start as an apprentice. It would be a waste to keep her tied down as just an assistant when she can appraise potions that well. At this point Mia is thanking every god and saint in existence. Still, her employer warns her that he won't go easy on her. When it comes to alchemy, he plans to be strict. She encourages him to do so, promising to do anything just to achieve her goal. Well, since she wants it that much, Crane is curious if there's anything she wants to make. Upon hearing that question, a lot of things start flooding Mia's mind. Rings and necklaces made from ore, stylish lamps and magical stoves, and oh, maybe even a flying carpet. After pondering over it, she asks if she could have some time to sort out her feelings first. Well, based on her prolonged silence, Crane understands that she has a lot that she wants to make. First, he suggests she pick one thing she wants to try making before anything else. Also, she needs to get used to doing alchemy itself. This won't go on her official record, but he'll pass her some of his personal requests to work on alongside. He closes his notes saying this is enough training for an apprentice alchemist for now. There are plenty of things he'd also like for her to do, like cleaning the workshop, managing herb stock, and checking the equipment, among many things. Mia shares how she did all of that when she was working under Zeal, so it's safe to say she has a general idea of how it goes. Additionally, he also informs her that they have a materials inventory list, and asks that she tell him whenever they're running low on stock. At that, Mia asks how he usually procures herbs, and Crane replies that he buys them from a shop he has known for a long time. Honestly speaking, he'd like to entrust the shopping to someone with her eye for quality, but the town is extremely stubborn. According to Craig, if the shop owner doesn't like a customer, she kicks them out, and if you show weakness, she overcharges. That old hag. So with that said, if Crane doesn't show his face, she probably won't sell Mia anything. Wait a minute, did he say a grumpy old lady who sells herbs? Mia thinks for a bit. In this huge capital, there's only one person who fits that profile. While Craig continues to get stressed out just by talking about that old hag, Mia asks if he's referring to Lady Babberil. He's gotta be referring to her, right? The wholesale shop in the west of the capital that deals in alchemy materials, right? Our heroine shares how Lady Babberil's homemade mugwort rice cakes, which she sometimes gives as treats, are quite delicious. Hold up, now it's Crane's turn to ask her in disbelief. She got rice cakes from that old hag? Anyway, back when she was still working as Zeal's assistant, Mia always went to Lady Babberil's shop for supplies. They've known each other for years, so she thinks there won't be any issue with her buying on Crane's behalf. The court alchemist has been buying from the old lady for a long time now, but he has never gotten any rice cakes from her. Anyway, if Mia's on good terms with Lady Babberil, then he'll leave the herb stock management entirely to her. Still, he warns her to be careful about getting overcharged. Mia keeps it to herself, but she finds it a little funny that even Crane was almost overcharged by the old lady. Since that's settled, Crane also hands her the official contract as his assistant. Since he doesn't have many people in the workshop, he plans to submit a higher salary request to the kingdom. Mia, on the other hand, is a little dumbstruck. Is he sure he didn't put an extra digit on the salary? Crane's pretty sure, based on what he wrote, that she should be getting at least half of what's written on the paper, given that she worked as an assistant to the Boitos family. Actually, she tells him that she was unpaid, which made Crane chuckle. He didn't know she liked to make jokes. An alchemist's assistant has a huge impact on their creations. They're essential to an alchemist. So for a rapidly growing house like the Boitos, they'd be even less willing to let go of their assistant, which means the pay would be high and, well, Crane trails off, remembering that here is Mia, an assistant with no lingering attachment, a cheated-on fiancé, unpaid and with no days off. After a beat, even he thinks that's too much for the Boitos. That's not how you treat a worker. Mia could not bear to hear of any of her stripped privileges. For all she knew, she worked under the assumption that she would marry into the Boitos family, so she wasn't in any position to complain. Crane can only cover his mouth, saying how he's afraid to hear more of her horrid experience. Mia, on the other hand, is scared because she's being treated too well. To that, he assures her that this is just a matter of normal rights. Anyway, back to the documents. He encouraged her to inform him if she finds any issues with them, since it is a contract with the kingdom after all. Mia continues reading, noting how she actually has days off, paid leave, and even injury compensation. Well, there's absolutely no reason to refuse, and he proceeds to sign. This much is expected of a contract with the kingdom after all. Now that they're talking, Crane remembers another thing, her broken engagement. He doesn't mean to be too blunt, but he asks how the procedures for breaking off her engagement are going. Mia replies that she was just about to start them, as she plans to gather the paperwork today. She hasn't even told her father yet, actually. At that, Crane's eyes widen because what do you mean she hasn't told the Viscount Hobril yet? But then again, he understands that it might be hard to bring up considering that her father is the former vice-commander of the Royal Knights, aka the Demon God. So her father's reputation precedes him, no? Mia shares that her father is currently away from home for night training. If she remembers correctly, he's a training instructor for the Knights. But to be honest, that's not the only reason she hasn't told her father yet. She never said it out loud for Crane to hear, but actually Mia's father doesn't even call her by her name. Later that night, back at the Hobril residence, Mia was in her room when one of the maids informed her that her father was calling for her. She was just eyeing the engagement annulment request when she stood and headed to her father's room. She's pretty sure that rumors of her cheating must have spread already, so she believes that must be the reason why she's being summoned now. She can't even remember the last time she spoke with her father. She recalls her mother getting sick and passing away while her brother joined the Knights shortly after. Eventually, they stopped interacting as a family. With what happened this time, he's probably furious, given how Mia's father values their house's pride and honor. She finally reached the room and entered with her head lowered and eyes cast down. Her father, a stern man, only told her to sit as he proceeded to tell her he wanted to ask something. His sharp gaze only makes Mia even more scared, knowing how declaring the engagement annulled without consulting her father might have been a bit much. The older man presents some papers before her, and she is shocked. Why, it's the annulment papers, and they're already signed by the Boitos family. She's shocked to discover that Zeal gave them to her father first, but now that she thinks about it, he was really hell-bent on branding her as the lady discarded by the Boitos house. She can't believe he actually filed the annulment himself, even though he's the one who cheated. While thinking of all this, she feels a heavy gaze and remembers her father is actually waiting for her to answer. Well, there's no way around this, so Mia decides to tell him the truth. She details how the other day she walked in on Zeal cheating at the Adventurer Guild and how he didn't show a single sign of remorse. With that, she told Zeal that she was breaking off the engagement. Mia braces herself for whatever harsh words her father would hurl at her, but to her surprise, his only response to all that was, "I understand." The older man looks over at the paper, while Mia is still taken aback by his father's reaction. This time she stands and bows her head, apologizing for tarnishing the Hobril name. His father replies with a question instead, asking how she tarnished it. Mia stutters for a bit, explaining how rumors that she was cheated on were already spreading. With that said, won't the Viscount house look bad? If that's how she sees it, her father puts it in another perspective, asking her if she did something wrong or committed any act that would disgrace the Viscount house. Obviously Mia answers no, and that's exactly her father's point. The Hobril house's honor was harmed, but not by Mia, so she has no reason to apologize. If anything, he should be the one apologizing for arranging that engagement. With that, he stands from his seat and apologizes to Mia with his head bowed. Her father recalls how Earl Boitos's potions saved his life many times back when he was still at the battlefield, so when the proposal came, he couldn't bring himself to refuse it. Mia assures her father that she's fine and that she also bears some fault for not being able to hold her fiancé's heart. But Viscount Hobril will hear none of it. He has been watching over her all this time and he could tell at least that much. He said that if Mia had shown even the slightest sign of breaking, he was prepared to pay compensation and shove the annulment request form to the Boitos family. There wasn't a day that he didn't struggle with whether he should live as a father or as a noble. Looking at the annulment request form her father pulled out of his drawers, they do look old. This just means that her father has been holding on to it all this time. As it turns out, Viscount Hobril was worried about her in his own way. She feels touched and thanks him. In any case, he suggests they will redo the paperwork since the Boitos family documents did not mention any compensation. Huh? There aren't? That shouldn't be possible. Unless, of course, Zeal doesn't think he did anything wrong. It's probably to better show off that he threw her away. Mia tells her father that she's fine with leaving the documents as they are, but the thought alone sounds preposterous to her old man. Just what is she talking about? If they don't demand compensation, it's like they're admitting that they're the ones at fault. To that, Mia gives him a little life update. So after all is said, Viscount Hobril is even more shocked to find out that his daughter is now assistant to a court alchemist. And not just any court alchemist, but the Marquis's son, Crane Augusta. He asks her how that happened and knows that the latter is the genius who broke the record for the youngest court alchemist. Mia has no idea either. In fact, she was just living normally. Anyway, she goes on and tells her father that she already signed the contract, so she doesn't want any more trouble over the annulment. Her father ponders for a bit since he doesn't know Crane's intentions, but he must have his reasons. Still, the Viscount can vouch for him, he's not a bad man, and above all, he's sharp. Mia adds how Crane helped her by overriding the bad rumors about her with good ones, so her honor is already protected. If this is Mia's decision, then her father accepts it as well. As much as it angers him about the compensation, they'll just cut ties with the Boitos family here and now. With that, he starts writing a letter so he can contact everyone involved. While her father does this, Mia decides to ask her a question that's been bugging her for the longest time. Did his father not actually dislike her? She mentions that he never calls her by her name. To that, the Viscount shamefully admits that he's bad at dealing with women, even his own daughter. He has no idea how he's supposed to address Mia. To that she answers that using her name is just fine, but again he stresses that if he could he would have called her as such by now. Anyway, he urges her to hurry along since she's interrupting his work. Mia rises from her seat, and just when she was about to exit her father's chambers, she cast him another look. She finally understands him, he was just clumsy. Still, she thanks her father, hoping that from now on, little by little, they can grow closer again like they used to. At the Adventurers Guild, everyone's staring as Zeal walks in by himself. The others know him, isn't he that guy from the Boitos family? The so-called heir who fell from grace because he just plays around? It's no wonder the Hobril family dumped him. Zeal hears it all but goes straight to the concierge, presenting his name and ID along with the potion. He's here to submit his potion for the B-rank alchemist promotion exam. The receptionist takes his card and gives him a look. So he's that Zeal, huh? When he heard that, Zeal clapped back if she had a problem with that, so the receptionist caught herself in time. He slams his fist on the table, ordering her to hurry up and process it since he doesn't have all day. He's pretty annoyed since everyone keeps looking down on him. He made sure that the rumors stated that Mia was the one at fault, so why is he the one being treated like a villain? Just then, an older man walks in, telling Zeal how he heard that the latter broke off his engagement and asking if he's handling that all right. Oh, it's the Alchemist Guild's guildmaster. This is the first time the guildmaster has spoken to him. But wait, for the guildmaster to talk to him directly, this just proves what he has known all along. Zeal believes they hold him in special regard. Being so full of himself, Zeal brushes off those baseless rumors. Sure, they're annoying, but he has no problem with them since he's always calm after all. The older man replies that he's not worried about him. He's asking if Zeal's skill in alchemy has declined. Huh, Zeal's not quite catching it. What does the guildmaster mean by that? So the older man details how Zeal's fiancé has been his assistant ever since he started as an alchemist, correct? The question is, can he still do alchemy without her help? Okay, that struck a nerve in Zeal. Just what is this old man talking about? He really believes Mia has nothing to do with his alchemy. So Zeal answers the guildmaster that his ex-fiancée just helped with chores. Hasn't the guildmaster seen the potions he delivered? Every one of them is his own skill. Or so he claims. To that, the guildmaster only tells him that confidence is good, but overconfidence is not. Furthermore, alchemy is unforgiving. Just changing assistants can affect the outcome, especially when the work uses mana. Wait, hold up. Is this old man saying that his quality of work will drop if Zeal does everything by himself? Obviously, it will get even better. The guildmaster is paying attention to him right now, so this is the biggest chance of Zeal's life. He confidently proclaims that his power is beyond this. Besides, if today weren't the final day for exam submissions, Zeal could have even submitted an even better potion. The guildmaster only frowns, asking if he's already making excuses at such an early stage. But no, according to this overconfident sleaze, he's just stating facts, even promising to shock him with what he can do by the next delivery. With that, Zeal exits the guild while the guildmaster looks at his submitted potion with scrutiny. The older man just tells himself that he hopes that he's not shocked in the other sense. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, our heroine is out and about. She's glad that her father agrees to the annulment, so now she just needs to deliver the copy of the paperwork to the Boitos house, and this whole matter will be over. She walks over to Zeal's place, thinking that if she hands it to a servant then she won't have to see his face. But fate has a different thing in store for her because not a moment later, she sees Zeal and Katarina walking out of the mansion together. So they're not just seeing each other late at night, they're basically living together. Mia quickly does a 180-degree turn, but it's too late. Zeal already saw her and asks if she needs something. Before she could even answer, he started rambling about how it's too late to come crying to him right now and that there's no place for her there anymore. Katarina jumps in and says she has already claimed the spot next to Zeal. Our heroine is speechless at the two's overconfidence. At this point, what can she even say? She's not hung up on him, and she doesn't envy them at all. In the end, she replies that there's no need to worry about her and that she's glad to see the two look so happy together. Zeal calls bull on what she just said. He knows she's pretty bitter that she spread that embarrassing lie. Lie? Wait, what lie? He's talking about the lie that Mia became Crane, the court alchemist's assistant. Zeal could only laugh at how even a kid could tell that one's a lie. Katarina laughs along with him. She thinks that lie is way too embarrassing for Mia. If she was going to lie, then she might as well make it a better one. Our heroine remains quiet because it's not a lie, it's literally the truth. Wait a minute, now that Mia remembers, Katarina was not at the guild when our heroine was scouted. Oh right, Katarina was getting scolded by the guildmaster in another room because of the noble request she handled sloppily. Mia clears it up, telling them both that it's not a lie. From now on she'll be working as Crane's assistant and she'll also be working as an apprentice alchemist. Despite her saying the truth, Zeal refuses to believe it. He thinks his ex-fiancée really became a pathetic woman. Was she so desperate for him to look at her that she was going around spreading these lies? Wow, this guy is really full of himself, huh? Katarina tells him then that Mia has always been pathetic from the start, and Zeal easily agrees. He thinks that if Mia could face reality, then she wouldn't have done something as stupid as breaking off their engagement. Guys, she's right there, okay? The topic of their conversation, on the other hand, thinks that the ones who need to face reality are the ones who cheated, not her. Zeal takes a step toward Mia and tells her to clean her ears and listen carefully. A court alchemist is a position only elites like him get. There was a pregnant pause before Mia brushed her hand off. For someone dedicated to nightlife, she thinks that will be a fit too difficult for him. Zeal isn't done bragging because for all he knows, Mia just wants to see him get serious with alchemy. At that, she stops and recalls how there's no way Zeal hasn't been serious. She has always seen him struggling so desperately with mixing. And after seeing Crane's alchemy, it's obvious to her that the difference in their skills is so clear, it's like they're on different planes. Not just their skill, even their attitude toward alchemy is too different. Zeal is not fit to be a court alchemist. And Mia honestly doesn't know where all that confidence comes from. Zeal had the balls to tell Mia how she's been dragging him down this whole time and that he'll prove it with his real alchemy. Katarina laughs along. Even if Mia apologizes now, it will be too late since Zeal will become a court alchemist in no time. When that happens, the one next to him will be Katarina. This is all a waste of time. Mia will just finish what she came here to do and cut ties. With that, she hands him their copy of the annulment papers. This is the reason why she came to the Boido's house today, since the Hobril house has officially accepted the annulment. As soon as he sees the documents, a scowl paints Zeal's face. He snatches the documents from her hand. Yeah, sure. She should enjoy her composure while she still can because starting today, Zeal will really start getting serious about alchemy. Even Katarina shares his sour mood because all of a sudden she's barking at Mia not to get jealous just because she couldn't become a court alchemist's assistant. At this point, Mia doesn't bother correcting her even though it's the truth. With that, the two walk away since they don't want to waste time on some pathetic woman. Mia, as the poster girl of beauty and grace, still bows her head to them as a courtesy. But with this, her ties with Zeal and Katarina are cut for good. There's no need to get angry over them, right? Well, it turns out she has one more reason to get angry with them. Because when the two are merely a few feet ahead, Katarina says getting rid of all the herbs Mia left behind was the right call. She goes on to say how herbs prepped by a delusional senior like her could never make good potions. Huh? Wait, did Zeal really throw away the herbs she left there? No way. They're the ones she prepped for that big night order, those precious stock herbs? Zeal makes his living off potions and yet he doesn't appreciate herbs at all. Mia calls out to them. She didn't even get to finish saying how throwing away the herbs is going too far. As it turns out, the two were really deliberately riling up our poor heroine. Still, she's upset since she gave up her days off and carefully prepped those herbs, only for these two to throw them away. But this really does cleanly cut their ties. Instead of moping around, Mia thinks she needs to switch gears and go buy herbs from Lady Babberel's. So she makes her way to Lady's place. But to her annoyance, just why is this sleazebag here? At least she gets to witness the two of them get kicked out by the old lady. Zeal and Katarina came out running, with Zeal even cursing the old woman and calling her an old hag. The elderly woman came running after them, saying she'd rather deal with stink bugs than brats like them. She hurls a round object their way and it explodes, enveloping the two in a mysterious fume. A second later, you could hear them crying out about how much it stinks. Oh, it's a special handmade item by Lady Babberel, the stench cluster bomb. It's packed with a thick stink bug smell that clings to your nose. Rumor has it the stench is so bad it's killed people. Lady Babberel's still at them, warning them that they'll get another one if they don't get lost. And that was enough motivation to get the two running away from her. Mia carefully approaches the older lady, greeting her with a good morning when the latter suddenly snaps at her. She was ready to tell Mia off, but as soon as she saw that it was our heroine, Lady became docile. She apologizes for snapping like that since she had some snot-nosed brats moments ago, then heads back inside her shop. Mia says it's no big deal, she saw everything from start to finish. In her mind, maybe that was karma catching up to both Zeal and Katarina, huh? As the elder lady settles behind the counter, she laments how the guy from before is a C-rank alchemist. Seriously, what has the world come to? Anyway, she turns her attention back to Mia, asking her what she wants. If it's her, Lady will give it at a special price. Lady can't believe that someone like that is a C-rank alchemist, commenting on how the guild alchemist sure has fallen, no? Mia thinks so too, right? But our heroine only laughs in reply. To recap, that whole fiasco earlier involving the eccentric lady and the conceited Zeal was quite the show. Obviously, their compatibility is the absolute worst. Mia even thinks the two started bickering right off the bat. Then there's Katarina, who looks as if she were about to cry. As usual, Mia was pondering all this in her head, which tends to daze her out. Lady had to ask if there was something wrong, forcing our heroine to snap back to reality. Now she also needs to be more careful because if careless words start another weird rumor, then she might really damage the Hobril family's reputation for real this time. She may be used to Lady Babberel's eccentricity, but Mia makes a mental note to make sure the elder lady doesn't twist her words. Anyway, Lady smiles at her, asking Mia what she's shopping for today. The latter replies that she's here to buy potion ingredients since she's low on herbs. Oh? Lady remembers her buying them just the other day, so did Mia mess up a batch? Ugh, how can Mia answer this? She can't exactly say that the person who got kicked out earlier threw everything away. Instead, she tells the elderly lady that her workplace changed. She's working as Crane's assistant now. Crane? Lady doesn't remember who that is. She's pretty terrible at remembering names. Mia tells her his name, Crane Augusta, a court alchemist. Oh, that rings a bell. Lady remembers him as the Augusta family's son. Lady finally has a name attached to his face, though this also made Mia realize that the elderly woman never called her by her name either. Well, names don't matter for Lady anyway. What matters is whether life is interesting. Mia had to gently remind her that she's not getting any younger, so she shouldn't be sticking her nose into weird things, but bah, Lady doesn't care, she's still young at 92, okay? Looking at her like this, Mia can't help but feel a little affinity toward Lady. Sure, many people may say she's eccentric, but to her she's just a lively old grandma. Plus, Lady also never judges people by status or rank, which is so like her. Back to business. Mia informs the older woman that she also came to deliver the potion Crane asked for. Upon seeing them, Lady's mood lit up. She's been waiting for these. This prompts Mia to ask if she was feeling unwell, to which Lady says it's just that her eyesight is getting worse, no biggie. She uncorks one potion and drinks it, all while Mia lectures her to take better care of her body. As usual, Lady is not one to hear all that rambling, reminding the younger woman that she'll also feel this someday. After downing the bottle, Lady complains how it tastes awful as ever. She turns to Mia, telling her that she should tell Crane to make the potion better next time. Boy, she really is gutsy, no? So what now? After treating Lady like an old lady a moment ago, now Mia is treating her like a child. Our heroine corrects her, saying she's been treating Lady like an old woman all this time. But enough of that, Mia wants to see the goods. They walk further into the shop and as expected, Lady has a huge selection. There are a lot of rare items on top of the fresh herbs. It's no wonder her store is favored by the court alchemists. Mia stands in silence for a bit, savoring the smell of the wood and herbs. She thinks this place would also be a great little hidden healing shop. Just then she feels something on her side. When she opens her eyes, she sees Lady staring at her. It's hard to keep the peaceful vibes with Lady constantly watching her. Of course, she's a businesswoman after all. Lady asks Mia if she sees anything interesting, so our heroine tells the former to put away the herbs in her hand. Lady reasons that she saved this batch just for Mia. Well, too bad for her. Mia knows the elder woman is using one of her scam techniques, forced leftover stock disposal. So Mia cleverly answers that she'll buy it if it's dirt cheap, making the old lady click her tongue in annoyance. She really can't get past anything with Mia's perceptive eyes, no? And yes, Lady mixed bad herbs into a bundle of good ones, which is another of her scam techniques. Forced bundle sale. But what the old lady said next caught Mia by surprise. Apparently, word on the street is that a noble was dumped right before his wedding for cheating. Mia freezes on the spot as soon as she hears Lady say this. Again, our heroine maintains her composure, noting how the old woman sure does know her noble gossip around the block, eh? Well, why wouldn't she? For Lady, it sounds pretty interesting. A man who cheats and gets dumped by his fiancé? That's pretty pathetic. Still, Mia is surprised at how much the situation flipped from the beginning. Maybe it's also thanks to the rumors that spread about her becoming a court alchemist's assistant, no? Lady offers her another bundle, but Mia politely declines, maintaining their conversation about the cheating noble. So the woman dumped him, yeah? Lady says that's what makes it interesting. A nobleman being dumped by a woman is a rare sight. She would have loved to see his face at least once. Gah, if only Lady knew he was the sleazebag from earlier, no? Mia is thankful for her for dealing with him though. This time it was Mia who shared an interesting piece of information about the gossip. From what she heard, the woman who was cheated on waived the compensation fee, and in exchange she quickly finalized the annulment. Lady was walking ahead of our heroine, surprised that she was quick with information about this issue. To that, Mia claims she heard it just this morning, so the news is piping hot. Additionally, she also shared with Lady that the woman said she's cutting ties completely with the nobleman and won't interact with him anymore. To that, Lady said the woman should crush him until he falls from grace. Bah, kids, these days don't finish the job. To that, Mia answers that as long as the woman is happy, that's what matters, right? She's pretty sure that woman is pretty happy right now about her annulment. Just then, Mia notices at the corner a basket full of magic ore. She frantically looks at Lady about the items, but the older woman is not too bothered about it. So what? Their magic ore is pretty common material in alchemy, right? Mia is almost distressed because look at the quality of these ores. High-quality ones with this much magic power almost never show up, and yet Lady just tossed them in a basket at the normal price. Our heroine starts mumbling about how good ones usually sell for high prices since the quality varies a lot, making her think that Lady should overcharge for these instead, and yet the older woman always sells the expensive ones normally. That's when Lady tells her that she really has a good idea. The older woman says being able to judge a magic power at a glance is pretty rare. Crane just said something similar to her a while ago, but for all Mia thought, it was just practice. She didn't know it was that unusual. Speaking of which, Crane told her to think of something she wants to make. Since she found such good ore, maybe she should make something with this, no? That's it. Mia has decided she wants the first thing she makes to be a gift for Alice, maybe a necklace that suits her. Lady approaches her again asking what she's so worried about and hands her a good ore. Mia quickly shoots her down asking not to be handed the cheap stuff. Besides, she's the one paying for this since it will be for personal use. With that said, Mia wants to check everything carefully. Lady's eyebrows raise, questioning why Mia is paying for this. Court alchemist errands should let her spend freely using state funds, so why should Mia pay anything? To that, the latter counters that she only mentioned she was Crane's assistant, but now she's also working under him as an apprentice alchemist. Lady starts trembling before giving Mia the brightest smile. Can you believe it? Lady Babaril is actually laughing because finally Mia is an alchemist. That took her long enough. But our heroine is apprehensive as ever, eyes narrowed as she asks if it's really that funny. Plus, she never said she wanted to become an alchemist in the first place. To that, Lady tells her that she should look at her own face sometimes. Not noticing how it lights up from any alchemy-related stuff would be far stranger. Wait a minute, Crane told her that too, so has she been grinning while packing ingredients? Mia flushes, a bit embarrassed because she's like a kid buying snacks. Lady hands her the magic ore, it's her reward for the interesting story. Moreover, she tells Mia to take whatever she wants. Huh? Is this a new scam? Lady tells her that she's serious, but then again, didn't Mia's father teach her to accept people's kindness? She starts throwing the high-quality magic ores at our heroine, enough to scare Mia. Lady tells her that one invests early in anything that looks interesting and shares how Mia is just like her when she was young. With that, Lady gives her a tip. First, learn the shaping skill so she can control minerals freely. Ultimately, the older lady made her take the whole basket. Mia is so flabbergasted that she could only ask if something good happened to the older woman, to which the latter laughs because sometimes things like this happen. The first thing Crane does as soon as she walks into his workshop is to ask how badly she was scammed. Why? Because Mia came back with a basket full of high-quality ores along with a lot of herbs. She narrates how Lady generously gave her a ton of magic ore once the latter heard that Mia had become an alchemist. Still, this is way too many for a single alchemist. It's practically like stock in a weaponry shop. Now Mia understands why Lady was laughing at her. It was because poor Mia was dragging everything when she exited her shop. Anyway, Mia opens up about how she wanted to make a necklace for a friend at the Adventurers Guild, which is why she was choosing magic ore. Crane is pleased to hear that, though he warns her that learning the shaping skill while making potions will be tough. Well, Mia's pretty confident in potion prep, and she has experience as an assistant, suggesting Crane just teach her whenever he has free time. Normally one should focus on mixing and polishing their skills, but Mia's dream as an alchemist came true, so there's so much she wants to do. Since she still doesn't have a fixed path, she wants to try a lot of things. Just then she notices Crane staring at her, prompting her to ask if there was something wrong. Well, no, not really. But if Mia told Lady that she was his assistant, then the older woman should understand that potion making is Mia's job. Still, for Lady to give her this much just because she showed interest feels strange, even for the older woman's pranks. Now that Mia remembers it, Lady says it was an investment, and they just chatted about annulment rumors too. Oh, if that's the case, Crane thinks that Lady might be expecting Mia to be her successor. Wait, what? Lady's successor? That's impossible for Mia, at least that's what she says for now. Besides, our heroine wants to make different things and refuses to make items that smell like stink bugs. Hold up, is Lady even an alchemist and not just a wholesaler? Crane can understand why Mia's view of the older woman is like that, but more importantly, did she really talk to the older woman about the rumor? Mia says yes, though it doesn't look like Lady knows she's the one who filed the annulment. To that, Crane reveals that Lady Babaril is someone who loves others' misfortune and gossip, so there's no way she didn't know Mia was involved. In fact, she definitely tried to fish out juicy details on purpose. Upon realization, Mia feels duped because that old hag really played her plenty with that ore and everything. Well, you never really know where the sparks of trouble lie, but Crane still warns Mia to be careful even if Lady was a step ahead of her this time. Now then, to more important matters. Although it's obvious that Mia has just arrived, Crane needs her to do something for him right away. Excited at the new project, Mia asks what it is, and Crane says it's mass-producing 200 bottles of potion. Did he just say potion production, 200 bottles? Crane confirms that what she heard is correct, though he clarifies that it's not all from a single order. Since requests came from everywhere, it all adds up to around 200 bottles. Also, because this is a personal order, he tells her that it won't go to the Alchemist Guild, which is why he thinks it's fine to let her handle everything from start to finish. Wait a minute, what does he mean by start to finish? Crane simply enumerates everything she needs to do, gathering herbs, making the potions, checking their quality, and delivering them. Gee, that's literally everything. To be fair, the court alchemist did warn her before that he won't go easy on her. Even apprentices don't get coddled by him. He did say that, but Mia has only made a potion once. Plus, Crane also helped during that time. This made her realize that this is the elite alchemist rite of passage. Is this also the reason why alchemist assistants are so notorious? Frankly speaking, Mia hopes for a softer teaching style, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Oh, before Crane forgets, the deadline's the end of next week. Upon hearing that, Mia feels the pressure because this isn't exactly a small order. No, but wait a minute. If she thinks about it differently, it means she gets that much time to focus purely on alchemy, so it's totally worth trying. She asks Crane if he can teach her shaping skills if this potion order goes well. Of course, Crane is more than happy to do so. Once she delivers everything safely, then they can start shaping training. That's more than enough boost for Mia. If she can learn shaping on top of mixing, then she can finally work as a real alchemist. And if she keeps learning like this, eventually she'll be able to stand on her own. And who knows, maybe she's even run her own workshop or shop. Since this is such a rare chance, Mia vows to make the most of it for her second life. She's going to give it her all to become a full-fledged alchemist. So just like before, Mia begins immediately, starting with herb prep. Since this is her first real order, she needs to give it her all. This isn't practice or a hobby anymore. She's making potions for people who actually need them. Since Crane took this request, the client's trust and responsibility are huge, which is why she wants to make a potion worthy of that trust. First, she fills a tub with lukewarm water and gently washes the herbs. Crane asks if she really needs to use lukewarm water for that, so Mia explains that lukewarm water makes it easier to remove dirt. Also, she can't explain it well, but it also keeps the herbs from wilting and keeps them fresh longer. This is the first time Crane has heard of that. Once the herbs are clean, she lays them out individually in a sunny spot. At this, Crane reacts again and asks a question. Isn't drying herbs not really a part of making potions? This? She tells him that this isn't for drying. Exposing the herbs to a little sun draws out the toxins from them. Upon hearing that, Crane moves closer and sees that something is coming out of the herbs. Mia continues that it makes the next step, infusing magic, much easier. Well, for someone skilled like Crane, maybe he won't need this step. But Crane remembers that Mia didn't do this yesterday, when they were making her first potion. That's true, when he taught her alchemy, they did prep the potion, but that wasn't going to be enough. To that, Mia admits that she was actually just too excited to start alchemy yesterday that she cut a few corners. That's some nerve she has there, slacking off in front of a court alchemist, he says. To be fair, Mia doesn't usually do that, she just got way too excited yesterday. Girl, chill. He gets it, okay? Judging by her work at the Adventurers Guild, she's someone serious about her job. Potion prep is all delicate herb handling and water work. It's pretty much boring and exhausting, but Mia believes her effort to make it just a bit better will finally be recognized and appreciated. She hopes so, since yesterday Crane praised her for it, and she has to admit it made her giddy. Speaking of Crane, Mia had to ask why he's watching her so closely. It's making her nervous and tense here. Well, it's because he's surprised to see her handle so many herbs at once. Mia says this is just so she can work efficiently. Crane comments on how a skilled alchemist with big contracts would do this. Usually they're too busy for anyone to watch, and since Crane himself wouldn't have thought of this, it's pretty fascinating to watch for him. So all this close observation he's doing is really out of curiosity, no? Alchemy is a closed-off world, and rarely do they show anyone else their work. For someone like Crane who works alone, is her work really worth observing for research? She's still just an apprentice though, and she's done potions for years now, so she's pretty confident with this. Wait a minute, this isn't how assistant work is supposed to be. Mia turns to him, asking if this doesn't feel backwards to him. Crane reasons that he's just checking on an apprentice's work, so it's fine. Okay if he says so. Just then Mia notices that the water's getting pretty murky, signaling it's time to swap it out. As she does so, Crane takes a beaker full of the water and observes it. There's no weird thickness or smell. Is this really a toxin or just dirt? With that way it is, it's pretty hard to tell. Mia thinks they're toxins because if she keeps washing in this water, her hands start to tingle. Crane takes note of that, adding that it could even be harmful to humans. If this is the case, then he needs a bit more of the dirty water so he can investigate carefully. Mia adds that the water should be safe to ingest though. She may call it a toxin, but lots of people have drunk potions with it, so she doubts it's actually dangerous. This time it's Crane's turn for his face to light up. Maybe these toxins in the water are normal to Mia, but this is the first time he has seen them, which makes him even more curious about them. She's surprised to hear that, especially since she expected him to have more detailed data. After all, wasn't he researching potions for a while now? In his defense, studying live plants is tricky. The components can change depending on location and season. But isn't that usually the farmer's or botanist's field? Well, Crane can help out in those areas too with the help of alchemy. This is why he analyzes things instead of ignoring them. Still, there's no guarantee that it will be useful data though. Mia sees him in a new light yet again. So Crane's not just into potion research, he tries to contribute to other fields too. It's no wonder he's a court alchemist at such a young age. Just like that, the day passed, and it's almost over. As for Mia, he's starting to get the hang of mixing techniques. Crane interrupts her work for a bit, asking how many days she plans to make 200 potions. Looking at today's finished products, Mia thought it would be better to finish and deliver them quickly. To that, her employer reminds her that there should be a limit, and for goodness sake, she's already catching up to his pace. Since mixing doesn't take long and she already knows the prep stuff, and there's no Adventurer Guild work to think about, this much is a pretty reasonable pace for Mia. This is the first time Crane heard that she used her guild-free days to prep herbs. Personally, Mia has more mental space than before. and she can focus even on repetitive work. Mia explains that she preps the herbs on her days off for Zeal's weekday mixing. That's an assistant's job. She remembers how she even prepped herbs for 400 potions in one go back then. Since she's an unmarried noble, she couldn't be out late, and as a result she started at dawn and worked until sunset. So it's no wonder she got into optimizing the workflow. This time, Crane asks a different question and wants her to answer honestly. How does being an alchemist feel? Mia echoes the question while he continues that she must have thoughts about potion making considering she made this much, right? She ponders for a bit and looks around. The workshop's spacious and well equipped. It's super easy to work in, and thanks to that the potions are of better quality too. She answers that she's getting used to the mixing work and it doesn't take as long as she thought. Well, since she has a gist of it, then it follows that she can probably estimate how long potion making takes, yes? Mia replies that prep is 90% and mixing is 10%, or something like that. Huh? Wait a minute, prep really does take way more time, and she's been doing all of Zeal's prep work until now. She handled 90% of the work and Zeal only did 10%? Could it be that he's been taking advantage of her work and slacking off too much? Finally she gets it. Zeal always looked like he was struggling with alchemy, but mixing alone wasn't really that hard, that was all an act. All this time he was just dumping work on Mia so he could slack off. She's been bamboozled. She turns to Crane asking how much Zeal has been playing around all this time, but as if the latter has an answer to that. Learning this fact just leaves Mia frustrated, but she doesn't want to deal with Zeal anymore. On the flip side, that unfairness of his got her noticed by Crane, so at least there's a silver lining. Mia slaps both of her cheeks. She's all fired up, hell-bent on finishing all these potions, delivering 200 bottles this week and moving on. She must stay positive. This is all part of becoming a proper alchemist, and since the engagement is off, there's no point in digging up old issues. If Zeal's going to go all out, then she's going to give it her all too. And she has no plan to slow down Crane either. Seeing her fired up like this, Crane reminds her that 200 bottles a week is like 4 alchemists worth of work. She can't maintain the focus and mana for that. Mia in turn confirms that the workshop only has 2 people, including her. So what? Is she saying that she's going to finish this all in a few days? And that's exactly what she intends to do since Crane dumped everything on her. Hearing her answer just made him wonder if he's being way too soft on her, even though he's not usually like that. For the first time, Mia understands what a terrible boss is, and this terrible boss of hers claps back saying she shouldn't lecture him, calling her an overpowered apprentice. Mia starts mixing the herbs intensely until she catches herself. Crap, she needs to be more careful and work neatly. Hopefully the clients will be happy with the results. Crane smiles as he continues to watch over her work until she finally gets a good consistency. She may have faced a lot of unfairness, but all the effort she has put in wasn't wasted. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, someone's having the worst day of his life yet. And yes, it's Zeal. He curses, slamming both hands on the table because why can't he make a potion? He's a genius, so he shouldn't fail at something as simple as this. He continues chanting that he's a genius like a mantra, all while thinking about everything he did up to this point. He did the shopping, herb prep, potion prep, and even the chores Mia did back then. He still put in the work, so why isn't the alchemical reaction happening when he channels mana? He's doing the exact same thing as always. The process is correct. Crush the prepped herbs, mix with mana, water, and boom, potion done. He grabs another handful of herbs and starts mixing them furiously. He's a genius who can make perfect potions without effort, so why the hell is this not working? He tries to channel mana but gets burned by how the beaker is. Just then Katarina walks in, informing him that the Duke of Wolfwood came to pick up the potions. She asks if they have any ready to give to him. Instead of answering her question, Zeal tells her that he's in an alchemy slump. He can't make potions. But wait, didn't he tell her before that if he tries hard it will be fine? Zeal snaps at her saying this is different because he can't do alchemy now. Oh, could this be the impact of Katarina's senior leaving his side? Zeal tells her to cut the crap. He only made Mia do chores, so there's no way that would affect him. Yeah, he's right? Well, what should they do now? The Duke is waiting. Zeal asks her what happened to the leftover potions. Huh? Has he forgotten? He threw out the ones Mia helped with, along with the herbs. Didn't Zeal tell her that if he tried hard he could make them in half a day? Crap, this just stressed Zeal out even more. Of all times this had to happen, it had to happen now? This affects a big order of his. To be fair, this is all Zeal's fault. Katarina asks if he's okay and she's a bit worried for him since the Wolfwood family is known for being tough. Well, this leaves him with no choice. Zeal decides he'll just have to persuade the nobleman somehow. Besides, it's been a while since he met the guy as well. Upon hearing that, Katarina is left asking just who handled all the past orders all this time. Mia finishes the potion Crane tasked her with and delivers it without any issues. The recipient is a man also familiar with Mia's work as an assistant alchemist and at the guild. Like many others, he's in disbelief that she really became a court alchemist's assistant. He wishes her good luck as he receives the potions, which Mia appreciates. Now, with the delivery of 200 potions done, she checks her list and sees that she has covered most of the delivery spots. As she was about to check what to do next, Alice suddenly appeared, waving at her. The appearance of her friend is a welcome sight to Mia, and she's even happier that Alice is the one receiving the potions for the Adventurers Guild. It's no problem for the latter, given how it must be awkward for Mia, given everything that has happened. Plus, she also wanted to check the quality herself, so she suggested Mia stay at their place for lunch. The two ladies head to the restaurant near the Adventurers Guild, and this very same restaurant actually belongs to Alice's family. She frequents the place, so it's a pretty familiar spot. While waiting for their food, Alice checks Mia's potions, casually talking about how she never thought the day would come when Mia would supply potions to the guild. So far, she notes how her friend's potions are pretty good and asks Mia if she made them all by herself. The latter confirms that it is correct. She even goes as far as to say that even by her own evaluation, they're high quality. In Alice's opinion, these potions feel more like something a veteran craftsman made. Mia thinks that maybe it's because the court chemist's workshop has all the latest equipment, though Alice does not look convinced. In her head, Miss thinks she did pretty well, though it's no different from when she helped Zeal. It's just the usual prep work, and yet the potions turned out better than ordinary. If anything's different, it's the environment she makes the potions in and the fact that she now uses her alchemy skills. Just then, their food is served, and the man serving them greets Mia, surprised that she became an assistant to a court alchemist. It's Alice's dad. He's the chef at the restaurant and personally came out to deliver their food so he could congratulate Mia. Our modest heroine clarifies that she just switched to a different position, but the older man points out that getting scouted still counts as a promotion, right? Alice is not too happy with her dad suddenly barging in on their conversation. As soon as he's done serving, Alice ushers him away, saying he's ruining her girly lunch. So, back to their lunch. Mia has eaten at their place so many times, but to this day she finds their food really delicious. She commends her friend's father for being a professional chef. Alice thinks that Mia may just have a pretty down-to-earth taste, with the former chalking it up to their restaurant having simple dishes. Well, it's only natural, given how Mia's house has a commoner maid cooking for them. Alice didn't expect to hear that from her friend. Who would have thought Mia had an unexpected family situation, no? Wait a minute. Speaking of shocking, Alice has something shocking to share too. According to her, Katerina is apparently fired. She was skipping work without notice, which must be the reason for her getting sacked. Mia's not too surprised with that, knowing how her junior had a bad reputation even when Mia herself left. Katerina took over some of Mia's work, but some tasks involved nobles, and she could only hope that it wouldn't become a big problem. Though she believes that the younger will be snarked at wherever she goes for a while. Alice says it's all Katerina and Zeal's fault. After all, they made a huge fuss and openly announced their affair themselves. Wait, what? Out of shock, Mia gets up from her seat because what do you mean the two broadcast their affair? Alice relays how the night before her friend quit. Katerina and Zeal were drunk and making a scene at the table over there. So does that mean that the night Mia declared the annulment of their engagement was not the reason word got around of their separation? Did Zeal and Katerina unknowingly spread the rumors themselves? That explains why news of their broken engagement spread so fast. Alice confirms Mia's suspicions. It was like a perfect illustration of noble darkness. So it's a good thing that Mia didn't go through with the marriage, no? Something about Alice's reactions tells her that her friend helped out too in her own way. She was about to bring it up but decided against it. Ultimately, Mia just kept it to herself, thinking how lucky she is to have a friend like Alice. Now back to guild matters. Mia asks what happens to the noble clients. Though she doesn't think there are other nobles at the guild though. For now, Alice explains that the guildmaster is taking them on behalf of the guild receptionists, but it looks like some of them might get assigned to Alice. Furthermore, those nobles are expecting a lot because they were close to Mia. Hearing that makes Mia feel a little troubled, suggesting that her friend just decline. The etiquette and face-saving stuff is quite the hassle, and it doesn't really suit Alice. Well, Alice explains that it's a temporary situation, so they'll manage somehow. More importantly, she warns Mia to be careful as well because from what she heard, the ex-fiancé seems pretty upset. Huh? What do you mean he's upset? Mia doesn't understand because Zeal has always been hot-headed, so that just might be his default, no? She remembers when she handed him the annulment papers. Zeal was pretty pumped up. To that, Alice shares that maybe Zeal's mask is slipping and maybe he's struggling now that Mia's gone. Yeah, our heroine doesn't think so. After all, didn't Zeal just tell her that he's going all out from now on? Alice is a little astounded at how slow her friend is, so in a quiet voice she quips that what Zeal said is exactly what someone who's doomed would say. Well, Mia doesn't know that, asking if that's slang among the commoners. Anyway, back in Crane's office, the latter welcomes Mia and asks if the potion deliveries went smoothly. She reports that most were familiar faces and that they were happy to receive their work. Her boss is glad to hear that, and so he tells her that they should get started on formation skill training. Mia instantly perks up, but before that, he urges her to make sure that she's wearing the protective goggles she wore the other day. She actually found those in the changing room and figured they were necessary, hence she put them on absent-mindedly. Truth be told, the only reason she wore them is that she thought they looked pretty cool. Crane explains that chemicals or hot water can splash. Given that Mia is not used to formation skills, she might accidentally liquefy parts of the mineral, and it could spread and injure someone nearby. There are multiple incidents each year where it causes blindness, so it's worth being careful. What's more, not all injuries can be cured with potions. Does she get it now? What if it splashes it on her skin? Hearing all of that made her change into safety clothes, while Crane continued about how, at least with formation skills, those can be removed easily. Moving forward, Crane finally unrolls the scroll and shows her the formation magic circle. He adds that she can only do simple tasks in this formation field, but it's perfect for getting the feel of the skill. Mia peers over the circle, asking if she will let her use formation skills. Rather than explaining, Crane believes it's better to try it out than explain in detail. He puts the magical ore in the center, then instructs her to just channel a bit of mana. From there, the formation field should deploy automatically. Mia does as he instructed, and not too long after she channeled mana into it, she struggles. It feels like her body is floating and like being in a carriage. Crane says it's because the magic circle's power syncs with her mana, forcibly deploying the formation field, which can cause uncomfortable side effects. As such, he explicitly tells her that she needs to master the formation skill, and he's only telling her this now, so she needs to master it ASAP or else this terrible feeling continues. Crane really takes her on-the-job training to the next level, huh? Terrifying. Just then the magical ore turns into mush, looking like clay in her hands. This is quite a new sensation for our heroine, as she's in awe of the normally hard ore turning all bendy. But just as she was about to mold the upper part, she found it was still hard. Crane adds that parts without mana remain hard, and forcibly deploying it causes uneven mana, so she shouldn't let her guard down. Yeah, no crap, Sherlock, he should have told her that earlier. After a prolonged minute, Crane still sees that she's struggling, so fine. He steps in and procures an ore of his own, saying this is just an auxiliary tool after all. Crane shows her how it's done and at the same time explains that she can only make simple shapes and that it won't work on high-rank materials. If Mia wants to make something, she needs to master the skill quickly, and voila, he made a penguin figurine with the ore. Crane puts the penguin on the table, saying the skill is not his specialty, but at least doing something like that is easy enough for him. He also suggests she start with ornaments first before moving on to complex accessories. Mia eyes the figurine, thinking how it completely looks different from her clumsy formation skills. It's pretty hard to believe that this is outside his area of expertise. It just made her think how amazing court alchemists really are. But more important than that, Mia has an interesting question. Does Crane like penguins? He answers that he has always wanted to see one, and he did this one out of curiosity since he has never seen one in real life. Mia just tells him that they're cute. She smiles and asks if she could keep the penguin figurine, saying having a goal nearby would motivate her. He feels a little shy, but Crane lets her have it, as long as she doesn't take it outside the workshop. Mia looks at the figure again and thinks that maybe Crane is trying to motivate her with cute things. He can be strict, but he's also definitely kind. Fast forward 3 days and Mia groans in frustration at what's in front of her. Crap, she can't make fine adjustments at all. Just changing the shape is enough to take all her energy. At least now she's got a couple of geometric shapes done instead of the wobbly figure she did before. As she continues to mold the ore, Crane tells her that this much is normal in the beginning. Just being able to intentionally change shapes on the magic circle is a huge improvement, as it is. Mia has a pretty high expectation of herself though, muttering about how she could have at least made another penguin now that she has done 3 days of practice. Mia makes an error again, making a mess out of the ore. Crane tells her that she shouldn't expect complex designs right away and that she should focus on forming simple shapes quickly first. Okay, fine, Mia's giving up on the penguin for now. Formation can change from the flow of magical power, but this magic circle has a fixed mana flow direction, and mana doesn't penetrate deeply, so it's mostly up to the circle, it's just a tool to get a feel for it. She receives another comment from him, saying she's too absorbed in the formation itself, urging her to broaden her view and grasp the flow of mana overall. Well, she can't help it, touching the ore is fun. So again, Crane tells her to focus on deploying the formation field. Crane steps forward, saying that once she masters the skill, she'll have more flexibility. On another note, if she just keeps using the scrolls, then she'll remain a novice forever. He puts his hand over Mia's splashed ore and cleans it up in one swift move. She asks him how long it took him to master the formation skill, and he replies that he thinks it took about 3 days to be able to deploy a formation field. If it took her 3 days, then it's no wonder she's struggling. Honestly speaking, he thought Mia would pick it up fast because her basic mana control is excellent. Mia believes she overestimated it. She even feels like patting herself on the back for being able to make potions. Actually, she never even thought she'd do alchemy, not just potion making but also practicing formation skills. This truly feels like a dream for her. As if he read her mind, Crane says enjoying alchemy is a talent in itself. It's hard to keep a pure heart like Mia's, and she couldn't believe that he was actually complimenting her. Crane admits that he does envy her. Alchemy is all about persistence and repetition. Even among the best, the legends are said to be those who immerse themselves entirely in alchemy. She asks if those alchemists he mentioned are more amazing than him. He tells her that they're incomparable. They may know about potion trading and sales, but they're less informed about the history or circles of alchemy itself. Mia asks again how incredible those alchemists were. To give her an idea, Crane says in the kingdom of Remeldia there's only one such extraordinary person. According to him, this person created magical gear with various effects. They are a specialist in forming and enchanting. Did he just say gear imbued with magical power? Mia had heard about that before, and she also heard that it was so powerful that only high-ranking adventurers or some nobles could afford it. Back when she was still working at the guild, she got a few inquiries about it, but she never thought someone in this kingdom's court could make them. Crane tells her that unfortunately that person is retired now and enjoying a leisurely retirement. Mia never heard about that, which is only natural given that the person was not active according to Crane. Curious, Mia asks him what kind of gear that person makes. Crane says what he saw back then was a huge shield that can easily block any physical attack, bracers that reflect magic attacks, and necklaces that prevent all kinds of status effects. Back then, he was so overwhelmed at what he witnessed that he couldn't say a word. Just hearing all about that was enough to get Mia all fired up. She wants to try that too someday. He's not surprised at her brazen proclamation, given how that's where everyone starts aiming. But the thing about alchemy is the more you know about it, the less you understand. Even with formation skills, without touching, alchemists could melt and reshape the ore. Hearing that makes Mia think of sorcery, while Crane goes on to say that theoretically it's possible. Formation skills are controlled by imagining she handles it with her hands to control that range, concentrate mana, make it dense, and multi-layer the mana field. Crane shows her how it is done, then explains that alchemists suppress everything there with absolute power. Suddenly Mia feels the air feel tense. Does the mana flow affect the space? But all of a sudden there's calmness and the ore remains the same. Crane tells her that's why it's called the demon's domain. As for him, nothing happens even if he tries. As for her, he suggests that she should graduate from using magic circle aids first. Our heroine is still hung up on what just happened. Crane says nothing happens, but she obviously saw how the space was affected. Maybe it's not entirely wrong, no? Maybe there's just not enough output. She puts her hand over the ore, thinking about what if they were controlling the power unconsciously. Crane notices she seems to be in a daze as she moves. Then she starts muttering about concentrating mana to high density and multi-layering the mana field. The next second, Mia actually conjures a formation circle on her own. What the heck is happening? Mia puts both hands over the ore with the newly formed formation circle and starts transmuting. Even Crane is shocked at this development, asking what she was doing. As she channels her mana into the ore, it explodes in her face, leaving a mess in its wake. After a prolonged silence, Crane asks if she just tapped the devil's domain. Mia starts shaping the ore again but ultimately gives up. She can't do it. Crane doesn't blame her, since the devil's domain is a force capable of controlling the very space itself, so it's only natural that she can't manage it. However, if even once it had succeeded, then that would change everything. Our heroine is not so pessimistic, unlike her employer telling him not to say impossible things. Without her shaping skills, she can't do anything unless she has a scroll. Okay, Crane tries to be helpful again, urging her to think carefully. How did she deploy the devil's domain earlier? Mia doesn't really know, she just focused on what Crane told her and just went for it. Upon hearing that, Crane raises his voice at her, saying that's not something simple at all. He's shocked because this is something alchemists around the world strive for. Mia is taken aback by his outburst. Even if he says that, well, what else can she do? Thankfully, Crane catches himself and apologizes for his behavior, saying he got heated out of jealousy. But wow, Mia never thought she'd actually see him lose his cool like that and act flustered. So she tells him exactly what she's thinking, saying she can't believe someone like him can actually experience jealousy even though he's called a young genius. To that he says failure is an inevitable part of alchemy. Maybe that's how it looks to others, but things never went that smoothly, not even once. Mia experiences the second shock of her life today because what does he mean by that? All this time she imagined it was going perfectly for him, including being appointed the youngest court alchemist. Oh, she's referring to the case of curing the princess's illness, right? A year ago, Crane saved the princess who had an incurable disease. He made a potion that saved her life and it ended up becoming major news. The potion crafted to match her symptoms was apparently unmatched anywhere else. In a world of experience-driven alchemy, the king praised the blossoming young talent. Thus, Crane was appointed as a court alchemist and seemed to have built an absolute status. However, maybe he himself didn't feel that way. Back to the present, he tells Mia that age doesn't matter in alchemy. What matters is the ability to persevere and experiment, even after failure. The one person who helped him realize that was actually Mia. Wow, even Mia's unaware of that as she looks at him in shock. Even Crane himself is shocked at how shocked she is, prompting her to ask if she did something. Crane hesitates for a bit, then reveals that, to be honest, she had actually considered quitting alchemy before. Huh? Mia's shock counter for today, 3. Before she could ask, Crane continued that if he hadn't met her back then, he wouldn't be here right now. Huh? What does he mean by that? Or rather, why would he even quit? Actually, 3 years ago, Crane fell into a slump. Even then, he was studying potions, though he had no specialty. According to him, whatever he made was just mediocre. As such, he lost his confidence as an alchemist, and because of frustration and anxiety, his magic control even faltered. Even simple brewing became unstable in quality. Simply, he was in a bad place. Mia heard how alchemy is easily affected by the mind. Apparently, if it worsens, one might even lose the ability to perform alchemy. Failing due to tension, anxiety, or mishandling magic is probably one of the worst things that could happen to an alchemist. At the time, Crane shares how he couldn't take requests from the Alchemist Guild, so the least he could do was bring potions to the Adventurers Guild, and it was there that Mia helped him. Wait, did he say 3 years ago? Mia had just started working at the guild back then. So yeah, she remembers meeting Crane back then. He was the first to let her appraise a potion at the Adventurers Guild. But from what she remembers, she practically bombarded him with questions about potions. Crane confirms that it is true, remembering how she went off about basic potion making but also asked about advanced topics. Heck, she even pointed out the issues. Crane felt confused back then, but it was definitely a strange experience for him. Mia remembers how she thought there might be an intention behind bringing it to the Adventurers Guild, given how the quality was inconsistent. However, she mistakenly thought it was being researched by specialists at the time, so now that she has the chance to apologize for it, she does so to Crane. He assures her that it's fine, and more importantly, that actually saved him back then. Seeing Mia seriously thinking about every aspect of potions, he felt like she was struggling alongside him. For that reason, he decided to keep going a little longer. Later, he realized he had been doing alchemy purely by instinct, and he could incorporate theory and data to overcome his weaknesses. Oh, thank goodness, that's good to hear. Mia heaves a sigh of relief, glad to hear that she has become a turning point. But in her mind, she hopes that it's a sealed dark past, never to surface again. To reiterate, Crane tells her that the reason she became a court alchemist was because of her, and he continues to be inspired by her. For that, she's truly grateful. Mia doesn't think she did a lot. Besides, if it weren't for him, she wouldn't have become an apprentice. Wait a minute. Could the favor he mentioned before be this? He confirms that it is. It's about that matter from 3 years ago. Since he became a court alchemist thanks to her, recommending her as his assistant is only natural. Plus, if she weren't engaged back then, he would have come and asked her sooner. Well, she's humbled to hear it was the result of Crane's efforts, and she's relieved there's a proper reason behind the recommendation, inviting her to be the assistant of a court alchemist just to erase bad humor. By normal standards, it seems totally unbalanced. If the reason he was called a mentor is that she helped fix Crane's slump, then that makes sense, but to credit her as the trigger is a bit too much, in her opinion. Crane reaching his current position is the result of his own dedication to alchemy, as far as Mia believes. Anyway, he didn't plan on telling her all of this, given how it's a pretty uncool story. Mia thinks it's quite humanizing though. He recalls how he was even temporarily dropped from A rank to D rank at the Alchemist Guild. It felt like he'd been abandoned in everything, but now he's back to S rank. But Mia thinks it's fine. She has also shown her uncool side, so there's no point worrying about the past. If anything, they should get along as fellow uncool people. Crane agrees to that. Back to mentoring, he tells her that they rushed ahead, but Mia has a talent for alchemy. To move forward, she should first practice deploying the shaping field, regardless of whether she's talented or not. Mia promises to do her best, though she hasn't grasped the feeling yet. Before she goes home later, Crane suggests she register with the Alchemist Guild on her way home today. Huh? But isn't that too early for her to do, given she's still an apprentice? Crane doesn't think it matters. He can support her to a certain extent, but the Devil's domain is beyond his hands. As such, she should be under the guild's protection before trouble arises. Since he says it like that, then what choice does Mia have but to follow it, no? Seeing her distraught look, he asks if there's a problem. Well, it's not really a problem per se, it's just that she doesn't want to see her ex-fiancé. Crane tells her that she shouldn't worry too much about Zeal because he's pretty sure the latter is not even thinking about her right now. If anything, Crane thinks Zeal is probably overwhelmed with unexpected visitors and the difficulty of alchemy, leaving Mia confused. She still doesn't get that she's been hard-carrying Zeal all this time, so Crane tells her that she'll see soon enough. Plus, if she brings Crane's recommendation letter and her potion, registration should go smoothly. Their conversation just now reminds Mia of what Alice told her earlier too, about losing flags or something. She has no idea, but she feels something is happening. Later, Mia heads back to the guild, remembering what her employer said about it being fine. To be fair, most people in the Alchemist Guild are polite, so as long as she doesn't meet Zeal, nothing too serious should happen. She pushes the door open and sees that the place is crowded with alchemists. The line for delivery is packed. She looks around quickly, checking to see if Zeal is here, when suddenly a familiar voice greets her. It's Vanessa Wesley. She's a former A-rank alchemist and the Scythe Alchemist Guild submaster. Mia walks up to Vanessa, apologizing for intruding. It's her first time coming at such a busy hour, and the older lady affirms that it is. But as busy as the guild is, Vanessa tells her that one receptionist quit, and they're desperate for help. Mia only stares at her and remembers that Vanessa is famously devoted to freedom, meaning that she is slacking in the name of freedom. Our heroine asks her this up front, but Vanessa feigns innocence. Oh, that's right, she just remembered that Mia quit the Adventurers Guild, right? She invites Mia if she wants to work at the Alchemist Guild, promising that the pay is good. Mia knows that the former may be the submaster in this guild, but she's aware that even Vanessa doesn't have that kind of authority to hire her on the spot. Vanessa feels a little hurt to hear that, and even tells Mia she can rummage through the vault. Our heroine turns her down, telling Vanessa that she has already found a new job. If anything, she's here to register as an alchemist today. But first she clarifies whether the skill exam for registration is waived if she has a recommendation from a B rank or higher alchemist and crafted alchemy items. Vanessa confirms that she got it right. The latter assesses Mia's potion, smiling to herself as she says that the rumor is true. Mia feels a little worried, knowing the rumors about her have spread this far. Vanessa assures her that it's fine, since spreading good rumors doesn't hurt. Well, she has a point, and it looks like the rumor about the broken engagement has been completely rewritten positively. But the rumor about being a court alchemist's assistant might stand out negatively though. Anyway, Vanessa is still assessing her potion and mutters to herself that it's just as she thought. That prompts Mia to ask about what the former just said, but Vanessa refuses to elaborate, saying it's just her opinion and that she's really surprised that Mia is becoming an alchemist. She finally puts the potion down and motions Mia to follow her. As the guild's submaster, Vanessa will personally register her. Mia remains where she's standing, prompting Vanessa to ask what's the matter. The latter says it'll be much faster if she handles the registration since the front desk is pretty crowded, but Mia says she'll pass. In fact, she calls out Vanessa because no matter who's looking at them, it's pretty obvious that Vanessa is free and has a lot of time on her hands. But more importantly, Vanessa has quite a notorious reputation for making unauthorized changes to contract terms and even selling all the extra old stuff. Vanessa laughs it off, saying she has no intention of doing anything weird. Mia turns away and points to the long list of alchemists, almost begging Vanessa to deal with them instead of her. At this point, Vanessa will get complaints, but the latter's not too bothered. Everyone knows she doesn't listen to others anyway. What the heck? Is this workplace even okay to have a submaster like this? Vanessa then pulls Mia over, forcibly dragging her to the back of the guild while the rest of the alchemists and the guild receptionist can only look on at the helpless Mia. Vanessa can't believe the day has come for Mia to register with the Alchemy Guild. Even she feels deeply moved by this. Our heroine is wary of Vanessa, asking her not to act all sisterly all of a sudden given how their relationship isn't like that. That's true, even Vanessa admits that they're not that close, while Mia adds that they only really interacted when she was assisting Zeal. Still, Vanessa had a feeling that this day would come. This was because in the potions that Mia had delivered so far, the former felt her magic was somehow infused in them. Back when Mia was assisting Zeal, she was using her magic to prepare the base of the potions. But if someone not registered with the Alchemy Guild is involved in creating delivery items, it could be considered illegal or punishable. It would be fine if she were just an assistant, but now that it's known that Mia did 90% of the work, it's not just gray, it's way over the line. Vanessa goes on about how she did appraise potions at the Adventurers Guild, but she never recognized the caster's magic before, making her think that maybe it's just her imagination. She couldn't say for certain then, but now, people who can sense magical wavelengths can kind of tell, like Vanessa for example. She places the potion right next to Mia's face and confirms her suspicions. Yep, Mia and potion have the same wavelength. Furthermore, it's a good potion just like the caster. Mia thanks her for the compliment, then tells her that normally you can't tell without a special test unless there's some kind of special trouble. Mia thinks to herself that she'll just keep the 90% workload she had before to herself. On the other hand, here's Vanessa asking if she could take a sample for herself, causing Mia to tell her that she should take the appropriate action. Trivialities aside, Vanessa is more curious to know why Mia decided to register with the Alchemy Guild. If she started assisting Crane, she wouldn't have time to take guild requests, right? Wait a minute, why did Vanessa just call Crane without honorifics? He's the eldest son of the Marquis family and a court alchemist. Well, she doesn't know the relationship between Vanessa and Crane, but she's pretty sure the former shouldn't go around calling Crane by his first name. Back to Vanessa's question. Mia says she has no plan to take any request right now since she can only make potions, plus she's still training her formation skills too. However, she quickly adds that Crane thinks she should come under the guild's protection. But before she can continue, Vanessa puts her finger over the former's lip, warning her not to be so straightforward. The Adventurers Guild runs this place for profit after all, and if it weren't for Vanessa, our heroine wouldn't get away with saying what she just said. However, Vanessa does understand that Mia's formation skills are still in training, because look, she just got a fragment of magic ore from touching Mia's face. Oh, that must be the leftovers from when she failed at forming the ore earlier. Anyway, Mia tells Vanessa that she's just a mere apprentice, though in her mind she commends the latter as expected from a former A-rank alchemist. Mia's still fresh and inexperienced, but once she registers as an alchemist, she will be treated as a full-fledged professional adult. Unless she becomes at least a B rank, which the guild would consider beneficial, Vanessa tells her that she has to take on a certain number of requests. Sheesh, Mia never thought she'd be lectured by the absentee Queen Vanessa herself about things like this, but she does have a point. Mia asks the other if she could do something about this given how Crane only told her to complete the registration. Vanessa says there's no chance the guild isn't a charity after all, and apparently Crane doesn't get that. Oh no, this is quite troublesome for Mia's end. What could she do? She can't just take requests haphazardly and risk messing up her assistant work. Vanessa notices that Mia seems to be struggling with what to do, so she offers her a super good solution for this. Crap, if anything, our heroine has a bad feeling about this. Vanessa tells her that all she needs to do is deliver the same potions she brought today on a regular schedule. If she does, then there won't be any problem. Yeah, there it is, Vanessa's suspicious deal. The former says there's a little trouble with some potion transactions, so she asks Mia if she would help her out while also assuring our heroine that she'll handle the tricky parts. Geez, fine. Mia agrees to this weird request, but only for this time. She can deliver this amount of potions easily, as long as it won't interfere with her assistant work either. Well, if that's the case, Vanessa readily hands her the request, asking for 100 potions this weekend for the C rank. Huh? 100 potions for C rank? By this weekend? Vanessa only smiles until she finally puts her hands together, begging Mia to do this. She knows this is a troublesome case, so it would be great if she could handle it quickly. If Crane's assistant handles it, then the client will also be satisfied. Most importantly, she promises that it won't cause any trouble for her or Crane. Mia can only sigh because it's not like she can do anything about it, right? Fine, it's only for this one time. Vanessa thanks her while Mia fills out the paperwork. She knows in her mind that she shouldn't take Vanessa's request, yet here she is. Vanessa looks at the potion, thinking that if it's just this amount of potion it will definitely do. After all, Mia is such an interesting girl. Mia is right to be suspicious of Vanessa's request. Do you know why? Just a few hours ago, Zeal was actually at their guild, his head bowed low as he asked them to delay the potion delivery. What's this? Vanessa's surprised at this development. After being so arrogant, this man has surprisingly become quiet, huh? But if the potions aren't high quality, then that's going to be a problem. She turns to him and even wrongly calls him Paul. LOL. Zeal had to correct her and tell her his name, while Vanessa asked him for the reason for delaying the delivery. After all, the Alchemy Guild also has an obligation to explain to the client, but Zeal can't explain. What he promises, though, is that if they wait longer, then he'll make something even better than his usual potions. He'll make sure of that. If that's the case, then Vanessa will proceed, assuming the contract will be cancelled. Zeal whips his head up so fast while she tells him that whether they renew the contract depends on the quality of the next potion he brings. Zeal couldn't believe his ears. That's outrageous. The guild just can't cancel a contract on its own. He can complain all he wants, but it doesn't matter whether he agrees or not. The contract itself was made through the guild. If the deadline is missed without a valid reason, then it's automatically a breach. At that, Zeal snaps. He's an alchemist trying to reach B rank at this young age. Does she really think it's okay to treat a next-generation talent like him? At that, Vanessa pauses and finally looks at him. She walks over to Zeal, saying he's delusional to his face. For alchemists who value experience and skill, youth means nothing. And from the looks of it, some people may mature early, stop improving, and show pitiful results. Crap, this just makes Zeal even more humiliated. But no, Zeal believes himself to be a genius. Too bad for him. Vanessa doesn't buy his crap. Geniuses don't exist. If anything, she says a genius is just someone who has worked harder than most, so he'd better remember it well, and Zeal calling himself that is nothing but child's play. He curses at her, saying how she's nothing but a girl who ran away from the world of alchemy. But as if that jab could hurt Vanessa, in fact, she laughs it off, saying he can say that once he makes an amazing potion, that is, if he can even make one. With that, Zeal storms off without another word. Once he's gone, Vanessa laments that dealing with a troublesome person while busy is tough for a submaster. As soon as she said that, the receptionist at the counter snapped at her, telling her to help out then. There's a long line of alchemists here. Can't she see that? But Vanessa just laughs it off, saying she's specializing in VIP support today. Plus, Vanessa has an inkling that someone important is going to show up. She got that right because moments later, Mia walked into their guild. As for Zeal, he marches off into the streets, cursing under his breath. Since the big deal with Duke Wolfwood was cancelled, he wanted to buy time with the existing contracts. As he walked past the townsfolk, he could hear them talking about him, about how he's the guy who got dumped by his fiancé. From what they heard, he's doing nothing and enjoying life with his mistress. His ex-fiancé was scouted as a court alchemist's assistant, with the folks saying how they're a mismatched couple. A terrible man like him really deserves to be dumped. But just when Zeal was about to turn around the corner, he heard his name being called out loud. He quickly moves back and hides, seeing how the knights are actually knocking at his door. The gentlemen were bewildered to find no one answering the door, which is pretty weird. Even though the potion contract was just signed, Zeal hasn't delivered by the deadline, not even a single pre-delivery, and no explanation. This just makes the rumors about him all the more believable because get a load of his storefront. There's not even a single product on the shelves. The place looks like it went out of business, so there may be some truth behind Zeal being incompetent after all. Anyway, they're more concerned about what to do next should they contact the Alchemy Guild. They agreed to do so. Soon there's a field trip for the Magic Academy in the Eastern Forest, so they need to prepare for any emergency. As soon as they're gone, Zeal finally enters his shop and starts rampaging through the place. He curses the low-ranking knights for how they're running wild. There's no way a genius like him is incompetent. But more importantly, he can't let this contract get cancelled anymore. Once he gets out of this slump, he's pretty sure he can fix it. Yeah, that's right. It'll be fine. He's a genius after all. Okay, breakdown over. Time to clean up. While he's doing so, he hears some cluttering behind him. He turns to see Katerina carrying a bunch of new herbs. That instantly put a smile on his face. He walks over to her, excited, commending her for a job well done. If they keep gathering herbs like this, then they can make as many potions as they want. But Katerina cuts him off, saying this is the last batch of new herbs, and making him pause. She's worried because this is the last batch of herbs they can sell. Hold up, Zeal doesn't understand. It's not even the rainy season, and there are plenty of herb gardens in the capital, so there shouldn't be a shortage. She tells him then that a lot of shops are eyeing them apparently, so she doesn't think they can buy more. There aren't even any herbs on the shelves. They could even buy from new stores before, but now they're kicked out for just being seen. Katerina is even blamed for it, and just remembering it is enough to make her cry. Why does she have to get yelled at? Zeal doesn't understand, this is all their fault. He looks at the herbs and the mess on the floor. Finally realization hit him. Is this because he bought up all the herbs? How many times did Katerina even buy them? Surely it wasn't that many. There aren't enough herbs yet, and it couldn't possibly be just because of him. Wait, how much did he even use yesterday? All of these thoughts came flooding into his mind, and Katerina's sniffling was the only thing that brought him back to reality. But apparently she's not done. They told her that she had to deliver potions to the knights, and she could only forcibly buy them. Crap, it's over, there's no turning back. She looks at him, asking if it will really be okay. He can make the potions, right? He smirks and grabs her by the shoulders. Of course he can make the potion. He's a genius alchemist after all. That somehow assures her, yeah, that's right, it's because Zeal is a genius after all. Now, back to our heroine. Crane walks up to her, asking why she has been making potions all morning. To that she tells him that she got tricked by Vanessa, or was asked to do so, and she ended up accepting the request. Crane sees that she's pretending, but he knows Mia is actually quite skilled. Moreover, she's making quite a lot, She tells him that the deadline is this weekend, so it's pretty tight. She even stopped by Lady's shop this morning to buy herbs. Crane remembers that he wrote that she shouldn't take requests for a while. But insurance and objections were useless, Since Mia points out that he's an independent alchemist after all. Still, she slightly regrets accepting this request because today she can't control her magic well. As a result, her potion making isn't going smoothly. Looking at Mia's busy back, Crane wonders if she's feeling pressured. She must be, right? She's still very much an apprentice after all. That's when he notices that she left the scroll for the formation magic circle laid out. Mixing over that will interfere with her magic and make it difficult. No wonder she felt something was off. Well, at least she finally finished one potion. But Crane notices something's off. Just what is that potion she made? It's glowing.